Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to give it about 10, 15 seconds just to make sure everyone can get in from the waiting room and kind of get their microphones and everything set up, and then we'll get started. Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us this afternoon. We've got a really fun session set up today. We're doing a teal talk on advocating for Scleroderma Awareness Proclamations. This can be something that folks, are a little hesitant about. They may not know what they're doing, or they may think it's super difficult, but we've got two fantastic presenters today who are going to walk you through that process step by step so that you feel confident in doing it on your own. But before we get started with that, I do want to go over a few details just to make sure everyone's logged in correctly. So if you're logged in correctly, you should be able to see my face and hear my voice and see a slide on your screen. If you're having any issues with audio or video, please try logging out of Zoom and then logging back in. And if that doesn't work, email me in the chat and I'll help you work through any of those issues. If you're watching the webinar on a tablet or a phone, you may need to swipe left or right on the screen to be able to see each presenter or the presentation. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be made available probably by tomorrow. And then we'll also send out an email with more details on the webinar as well. With that, I'd like to jump into kind of our disclaimer. The National Scleroderma Foundation in no way endorses any drugs, treatments, clinical trials, or studies referenced in this session. Information is provided to keep the community informed. Because the manifestations and severity of scleroderma vary among individuals, personalized medical management is essential. Therefore, it is strongly recommended that all drugs, treatments be discussed with your healthcare provider for proper evaluation and treatment. Now, today's session isn't going to cover any medical information, but we do like to share that in all of our presentations. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two fantastic presenters for today. We have Monica Ramirez and Desiree James, both of our Florida and Puerto Rico chapter. They're both longtime advocates of the National Scleroderma Foundation. They've led support groups. They've sat on as members of chapter board. They've gone to several hour conferences, done several presentations, and are truly champions in the community. I'd like to welcome them both, and the floor is yours, Monica and Desiree.
Thank you. Thank you, Angel. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Teal Talk session focused on scleroderma awareness. We honor to be here with you and Monica Ramirez, joined by Desiree James. Please feel free to hold your questions until the end, and we'll be happy to answer them then. Let's begin this important conversation that is all about advocacy in action. We'll guide you step by step through the process of requesting an official proclamation to recognize June as Scleroderma Awareness Month in your city or state.
Good afternoon, everyone. In about 40 days on June 1st, we kick off Scleroderma Awareness Month, a month of advocacy, awareness, empowerment, recognition, and celebration. Two words that I often hear to describe our community members are resiliency and strength, which tie into this year's Awareness Month theme of stories of strength.
This workshop is designed to advocate, support group facilitators, caregivers, and anyone connected to the scleroderma community, whether you're new to advocacy or looking to take the next step. This session will give you the confidence and tools to make an impact.
Now, some of us may be asking this question: what exactly is a proclamation? A proclamation is an official public statement made by a person of authority, such as a mayor or governor, to inform the public about a specific cause, event, or group. Proclamations are used to commemorate and raise awareness about important matters, and in our case, publicly declaring acknowledgement of and support for Scleroderma Awareness Month. So let's move on to the steps needed in requesting a proclamation. And we will go into more detail in the next few slides, but to kick us off, one of the first things that we want to do is determine who will be your point of contact in your city or state for your proclamation request. You'll want to prepare your communication email letter to that point of contact. And along with the communication, you may also find it beneficial to include a draft of the actual proclamation wording. We also want to make sure we highlight the work and mission of the National Scleroderma Foundation and our chapters. And this can be done, as you'll see later, within the body of your request, as well as by including or attaching any supporting materials or documents. And in the upcoming slides, you will see some examples of steps 1 through 4. The last thing we want to mention here is it's very important that you submit your proclamation request weeks in advance to allow time for the mayor or the governor's office to review, process, and mail the proclamation.
The first step in requesting a proclamation is to identify the right contact in your city. Start by searching the official city website using Google. Look for the name of the mayor and then locate the city clerk, as they often handle proclamations. Be sure to find the correct contact information so you can send your request to the appropriate person or office.
Now, when preparing your request letter, here are some points of information to consider and include. You want to begin, of course, by identifying yourself and the National Scleroderma Foundation, the reason you are writing and why it's important, the date the proclamation is needed, and also ask yourself, are there any supporting documents or other information that should be included that would be beneficial for them to know? And of course, we want to end with a thank you along with our contact information. Now, what we have on the slide now is an example of the wording of a proclamation request. And coming up, Monica will be going into more detail in a recorded demonstration where she submits a proclamation request. Again, this is just an example to provide you with some guidance. And it can be this wording or this email or letter, whichever way you decide to handle it, it can be modified for your specific situation and needs.
A sample proclamation text. It includes a his whereas statement highlighting facts about scleroderma, followed by a formal statement declaring June as Scleroderma Awareness Month. Once approved, it's signed by the mayor to make it official. Like Desi said before, in this case, this is a sample proclamation text you can use when submitting your proclamation request. We also send you to your email so you can easily copy, personalize according to your cities, the name or the mayor of your city, and send it when you're ready.
Now, remember when I mentioned earlier that you might want to highlight, not might, but we want to highlight the National Scleroderma Foundation? So this slide is an example of an attachment that our chapter has the option of including with our request. It gives a brief description of scleroderma. It highlights the foundation's mission statement, as well as our 3 pillars of support, education, and research. And this document is actually a handout that our chapter uses at our in-person awareness events. And Monica came up with the great idea of including it with our proclamation request. Next, we're going to have that video where Monica will walk us through the request step by step.
How to find the right contact for a proclamation request. To get started, open Google and type the name of the city along with a keyword like official website or city government. You are looking for a site that typically ends in .org, which usually indicates a government page. Once you found the city official website, click on to explore. First, locate the mayor's name and contact information, which is often listed under a section, the mayor's office. So now is city directory. And now we have the name of the mayor, Eric Diaz Padron, and his email. Then search for the city clerk, who usually handle official documents and proclamation. This information is often under a tab such as departments or government. Take note the email addresses you find. This will be essential for submitting your proclamations request. Prepare your request letter. I'll take you step by step through how to complete and personalize the Scleroderma Awareness Month proclamation request letter. Greeting the official. Replace this with the actual name you're contacting. For example, in my case, is Annery Gonzalez. Introduce yourself. Here, where you say who you are and why you care. My name is Monica Ramirez, and I am a scleroderma patient, advocate, and volunteer with the National Scleroderma Foundation. Keep it personal and direct, just a sentences or 2. The request. This is the heart of the letter. Just plug in your city name. What is important? This paragraph explains the seriousness of the disease and why awareness is so vital. You don't need to change anything here. It's already written for all cities. The foundation role. Near the end of the paragraph, update the sentences and put the city name. Why their support matter. Just put the name of the city, attachments. You don't need to change this paragraph, just make sure to attach a sample proclamation text, information about scleroderma or the foundation. And final, type your name and phone number. And that's it. With just a few small edits, like adding your name, the official name, and your city, you'll have a professional, impactful letter ready to go. Now, let's take a closer look at the sample proclamation draft for Scleroderma Awareness Month. The words section. Each word introduces a key fact of reason behind the proclamation. The proclamation, now therefore, what to personalize? Replace mayor's name with your city mayor's and replace city name with the name of your city. And the closing statement. There is where the mayor officially signs and seals the proclamation. Again, just update city name and mayor's name. And there you have it, a proclamation that's powerful, respectful, and easy to personalize. All right, now that your proclamation letter is ready, let's go through how to submit your request. Open a new email. Start by opening your preferred email platform, Gmail, Outlook, or another service. Add the recipients. The contact information from the city clerk and the mayor that we get from the official city website. Paste the request letter. Now, just copy the proclamation's request letter, the one you personalized earlier, and paste it directly into the body of the email. Attach supporting materials. Attach 2 key documents to the email: the sample proclamation text and a flyer about scleroderma or the National Scleroderma Foundation. This gives city officials everything they need to understand and support your request. And just press send. Once you double check everything, go ahead and click send. Just like that. You're taking an important step to bring awareness of scleroderma to your community. If you haven't received a response within a week, it's perfectly okay to follow up. You can kindly send a message to us if the city clerk has to have a chance to review your proclamation request.
Now, this next video example is one where I submitted a proclamation request to our Florida governor. And this one is unique in that I was able to complete it and submit the request directly online. And Monica, you can start the
Hey,
video.
Monica and I would also like to walk you through how to request a proclamation from your state governor. Now, we both live in the state of Florida, so we're going to actually request and submit a request this morning to our governor here in Florida. So let's type in request a proclamation from the Florida governor. And you can see right here, we have a link, request a proclamation. Executive Office of the Governor. Let's scroll down, request a proclamation, and it's right here for us. So let's start filling in the blanks. Then my name, phone number, and I'm typing in my personal information because I want the proclamation to come to me. I want to be contacted if they have any questions. The organization that we're representing, of course, is the National Scleroderma Foundation, Florida, and Puerto Rico chapter. Our website, let me just grab that. Let's paste that in. And the mission statement for the organization. And you can see what I've tried to do here, and it's going to be very important for you to do it as well. I'm not the most techie person, so I had everything right here at my fingertips. I had typed the organization's website as well as the mission statement. I copied and pasted them on a Word document, so I could run through this pretty quickly. My role is I'm the chapter advisory chair for Florida and Puerto Rico. Now, this next category, the question is, how will the proclamation be used? Check all that apply. Of course, we would like a hard copy of the proclamation. We are planning to post it on our Facebook page as well as our other social media pages. I'm sure we'll send an email blast out to our Florida Scleroderma community, and we'll also post it on our website. Okay. I'm going to provide them with an address of where to send the hard copy of the proclamation. Okay, the date the proclamation is needed. Scleroderma Awareness Month kicks off at the beginning of June, so let's ask for the proclamation for the end of May. The title will be Scleroderma Awareness Month Proclamation. Okay. And here we're going to use the same language that Monica used, the clauses. And let me just copy and paste that verbiage right here. And I also like to provide a little bit of history about the National Scleroderma Foundation. And I also usually provide, I try to personalize some of these proclamations, and I share my personal story. So let's attach those. Let's see, NSF history. Whoop. Okay, there's that. Upload it. And so, oh, one file only. So let's stay with the, you see where it tells me I can only provide one file. So we'll just use the NSF history. I'm not a robot. We're going to submit it. Okay, so that's that for the state of Florida. You might have something different for your respective states. Hopefully it will be as simple as filling in the blanks as it is for us here in Florida.
So what happens next? Once you have your proclamation in hand, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. You want to celebrate by taking and sharing photos. If you're on social media, be sure to post your photos. Tag your local government and your scleroderma community. Share the photos with your family and friends, your chapter contacts, and members, your chapter members, whether it's your executive director, your chapter advisory committee, your support group members, as well as the national office. And I'll place in the chat, or we'll send it out in the follow-up materials, the email address for the communications team in the national office. And also give yourself a pat on the back for the work that you've done in advocating for scleroderma.
Every proclamation is more than a document. It symbolizes recognition, unity, and hope. We are proud to share the proclamations that our chapter received in 2024 from cities including Orlando, Lauderhill, Jacksonville, Boynton Beach, Key West, Miami, and Puerto Rico. Each of these cities has taken a stand with us to raise awareness for scleroderma. Let's keep going because together we make a difference.
Now we're ready to open the floor to any questions or comments that you have, but before we do have this disclaimer that we need to read. The National Scleroderma Foundation is a nonpartisan organization. We are fortunate to have strong working relationships with both sides of the aisle, which have helped us achieve meaningful advocacy outcomes for the scleroderma community. So we kindly ask that all questions remain relevant to today's topic. Political or partisan questions will not be addressed during this session. Okay.
Thank you, Monica and Desi. That was very informative. I feel like I could go ahead and get it done now. I would like to encourage anyone in the audience, if you'd like to ask questions, please use the Q&A feature or the chat, and we'll be getting to those questions now. So we have one question here. Let's see, in the Q&A. Since I'm also in Florida and you have sent the proclamation to the governor, should I still also send one to the Florida governor?
My response to that would be yes. I think last year, Monica and I both sent a request to the governor. So my response to that would be yes.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. I think it shows the need that much more in the community. The next question is, if we're in an area also served by non-National Scleroderma Foundation affiliated chapters, should we coordinate with them to make sure we're not overlapping? And I can jump in and take that. So I think ideally, yes. I know we're always close. Well, right now we're a little not close, but getting to that kind of deadline. I think it's safest to definitely submit and then share those contacts for those non-affiliated with the national office or with your local chapter, so we can kind of build those connections and see what each other are doing, and from there, we can work on strategies for future years. But yeah, that's a fantastic question. Thank you. And I actually have a question. So I know, what happens when we don't get it, when they don't get approved, or that deadline kind of comes and we haven't heard back. What happens then?
Well, I requested in the past to the governor, and they didn't answer. I sent the request with enough time, not 6 weeks, 8 weeks before the June Scleroderma month. And at the beginning, they say, we're reviewing your request. And after that, maybe in May, they say, oh, we're still reviewing your request. At the end, they say, oh, I'm so sorry, we can process your request. Well, we have to try the next year. So during 3 years, I'm sending the request to the state of Florida, and I didn't get it. But still, I'm getting from the city of Miami. So that's why that's what's going to happen. Maybe you can receive it or maybe not. But every year, we have to request the proclamation to the city or the state.
Yeah. And if I could also add to that, I know we had a situation last year with one of the proclamations to one of the cities. We did not receive it by the end of June. The person that submitted the request, she kept following up. Follow-up is sometimes necessary. Frequent follow-up may also be necessary. But she followed up several times. We did not receive it by the end of June. I think it may have been in July. They did get it to her. We celebrated the fact that we did receive it. I think her photo was one of the ones that Monica shared. So it's okay if it comes late. Yeah, it's okay if it comes late, and it's okay if you submit it late. I think I've done that in the past, and so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, thank you both. And come to think of it, I know you mentioned in the online on the video where you were showing us how to post online or how to request online, that there's an area there to attach kind of supporting documents, and even when you email. So that's actually, I think, a great idea to, if you, like Monica, you didn't get the state proclamation that year, but you got the city of Miami. I think attaching the city of Miami's proclamation is probably a pretty big deal, of a supporting document, I would think, right?
Yes, it's correct. That's supporting documents, but we can share any information to anybody. If anybody have any questions related or after this, maybe when you request it, each city has a specific documents. This is another thing, because when you send a request, maybe the city say, yeah, we are processing your request, but you need to send additional documents. So you just fill out the information that your city are requesting. But we can share anything that you wanted, Angel.
So thank you. And we have another question here. It says, hello, I'm from the Lower Great Lakes chapter. I'm in Ohio. I sent a request to our governor and he approved it. Congratulations. I received my proclamation 2 weeks ago. This is new to me.
Wow.
Are proclamations a one-time or one-year proclamation, or must we reapply yearly?
Yeah, we have to send, in the case of the Florida, every year we have to request.
Yes. Yes. And I don't know if that's could possibly be different in other states. I don't know if there's anyone out there that their proclamations are longer than 1 year, but yeah, as Monica mentioned, we do have to submit a request each year.
Yeah, that's really good to know.
And congratulations to, I was trying to see who that was, to Doris. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Doris. And if you need to, if you want to share any of those photos, you can send it to anyone here on the call now. You can also send it to our communications team. And again, we're going to be sending out an email after this webinar with kind of all the information you'll need. And another question or comment here is, let's see. So it should be noted that some states require even longer time for proclamations. For example, New York City recovers several months. also some states, mayors need to link it to an event such as a walk. So yeah, that's great to note as well. Have Monica or Desiree, have you had any experiences with that, or maybe working with individuals from other states?
No, I haven't run across that situation.
Me neither.
Yeah. But
Oh,
thanks,
thank
Eva
you.
Marie, for sharing that.
Yeah. And I'd also like to let everyone know, if you are planning to submit, we do have a survey just to kind of help us track all of our national efforts. I'm going to post that link into the chat now, so that if you are submitting any information or just making that effort in your town or state, please complete this survey, and I'll add the link now. Perfect. And we're getting several comments in the chat that are saying, good job, thank you, fantastic work, ladies. So we're seeing quite a bit. And then we've gotten some comments here about how critical it is to advertise. And then because they've noticed sometimes that the governor's office may not be doing all of the advertising. Can either of you speak on kind of the importance of advertising and getting the word out there?
Do you mean, Angel, once we receive the proclamation?
Yes.
Absolutely. Not last year, but the year before, in the city of Lauderhill where I live, I actually made the request to have the proclamation be presented to me in a city commission meeting. And I was expecting them to just hand the proclamation over to me, go sit down. We're going to continue with city business. But the mayor actually allowed me about 5 or 10 minutes to talk and speak about scleroderma, what the proclamation was all about. So it was a wonderful opportunity. And I've submitted my request to Lauderhill this year, and I have asked that it be presented to me in a city commission meeting again. So there were members of the public in the audience. It wasn't just the city officials that had an opportunity to understand and learn and hear more about scleroderma. So
Yes, in my case, it was the same like Desi last year, just for first year. Last year, the mayor of the city of Miami invited us, so Lorraine and me went to the city hall and received the proclamation from the city mayor. And he said that he never heard what is scleroderma, so he had to share what it was. So it was wonderful because the rest of the audience know what is scleroderma. So, and we have a few minutes to talk about our condition. It was wonderful. Yes.
yeah, it was. And, and that's one of the reasons why we also recommended that, if you're on social media, post it on your personal Facebook or Instagram or whatever other social media sites that you're on. Tag as many folks as you can possibly tag, because even if we have educated one person, that's one more person that knows about scleroderma. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with both of you more. That's what it's about. The more we get the word out there, the more folks will know and support the community, the walks, all events grow as we share, this information. And we've got another question here in the Q&A. It's about follow-ups. So they're asking, how do we do follow-ups? Do we just resend kind of that first email, or what goes into it?
Just send a kindly email to the person that you sent before just say, do you have a chance to review my request? Do you need any additional information so you can process? Just remember, just remember, just kindly email.
We don't want to burn bridges, right? Awesome. Thank you. And if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat or in the Q&A. Let's see. Yeah, we've got some more comments coming up from the chat. Just how wonderful it was to be recognized by the city leaders, and thanking you again for this fantastic presentation. And I think it's really neat. If you do want to see, you can always check out our social media, especially during the month of June. There are so many photos of folks getting proclamations, light ups, and all other fantastic advocacy and awareness initiatives. So it's a great way to kind of pump yourself up and really see how active the community is.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Yeah, makes a difference.
Awesome. All right, so we'll give it about another minute or so for any questions, and if not, we'll end the webinar. I want to let everyone know this webinar has been recorded and will be made available on our YouTube channel as soon as possible. It'll likely be up by tomorrow. In a follow-up email within an hour after this webinar, we'll be sending those templates that Monica and Desiree discussed during the webinar, where you can kind of pull that information from, as well as key contact information and the survey that we added to the chat. So keep an eye out for that email, and any questions you can email myself, and I can get you in contact with your local chapter representative, so that they can kind of help guide you on more of the specifics for your state.
And remember, if you don't receive the proclamation this year, next year, send it again. At some point, maybe the mayor or the city clerk said, let me send a proclamation to this person, so stop sending emails and letters.
I like that. I like that. Any closing comments from you, Desi?
I just want to thank everyone for attending the webinar. We really appreciate it. If there's anything Monica and I can do to help you with your proclamation, please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. We'll be more than happy to help. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Desi. And Monica, any closing comments?
No, thank you so much. I hope this is really help you to send a proclamation in your city or your state. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time and your expertise. Thank you for everyone who logged in today. I hope you have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.